What's the worst city you have ever visited? Djibouti City. All of those plastic bags you throw away after a grocery store run. All of them end up here. Djibouti. Flew in there from Dubai. Shanty towns everywhere. Burning trash. Absolutely brutal poverty. Cairo. Whole city is a dumpster. Love the history. It's ruined by some people. Terrible drivers. People hawking you down to get you to buy stuff, and overall it's pretty dirty. Food was great though. They also get quite excited when they see blonde women. Went into the city in the evening. Without our guide. Probably around 12 of us, including a few pretty women. Also several rather large builders. Didn't help. We ended up literally running back to the hotel. Not a particularly nice experience. Cairo. 20-30 million people. No functioning garbage collection. Total gridlock. No greenery anywhere. Barely even any pavements. Sweltering heat and smog. Huge motorways and overpasses coming right up to the windows of dilapidated concrete apartment towers. A lot of the apartments were half-built and lacked windows but were occupied by people. An extremely creepy hostile atmosphere for women walking in public and scammers everywhere. The very definition of urban hell. Add it. It's quite amusing seeing some of the other quite nice cities listed here and imagining those people visiting Cairo. Yeah, it was pretty much a shithole outside of a few wealthy areas and the carefully curated tourist areas. The pollution makes you want to light a cigarette to get the health benefits of inhaling through a filter. I had a friend who lived in Cairo for 5 years. When she came back to the States, she needed a chest x-ray for some reason. The doctor was like, "Geez, are you a heavy smoker?" Nope. Never smoked a cigarette in her life. I remember a 12-hour bus trip in Sumatra and Noah Sea. The occasional cigarette was a relief from the smell of feet and chickens. The buildings leave the top floors, intentionally unfinished to avoid building completion tax. I have heard some crazy stories of colleagues going to Cairo for work and they would be coughing up sand. Some guy went to a pharmacist and got a random bottle of medication, and when he came back to the States he wanted to renew it because whatever he was made him feel great. The doctors could not figure out what it was, but suspected some amphetamine. They mentioned drivers would go off-road all the time to make the best possible time. Fallujah was not the jam of the Euphrates I expected. Dhaka, teeming with people, open sewage by the roads, straight-up Mad Max style vehicles and traffic, god-awful weather, super hot and sweaty, an unescapable stink across the whole city. People literally stare at you like an alien if you are 4-0. And the woman tried to hand me and my colleague a baby out of the blue, then started screaming bloody murder when we didn't want to take it. God-awful place. A guy had a similar experience with a baby in Haiti. Except I took it and she ran off. I had no one to give him to, so just held him for what seemed like hours. Had no food. Was dipping my finger in water to dry to get him to drink. Finally, some Haitian military guy took him after I pleaded. I was in uniform at the time, US, and I think he just set him on the sidewalk and hopes mom would come back. Awful place that stained my mind even 15 years later. Sanliurfa, Turkey. It's from my own country, by the way. It's scorching hot, but believe it or not, that was least of my problems. Whole place is dirty as fuck. People are loud and rude. Cuisine is overhyped and everywhere looks like dust from Counter-Strike. Managua, Nicaragua. Saw little kids with rings of gold and silver spray paint covering their nose and mouth, begging for change at every intersection. If the kid got money, they would run back to an adult, hand the money over and get a huff off of a bag full of aerosolized spray paint. Doormen at the hotel were packing MP5s under their jacket. Raw sewage running in the waterways. At least it smelled like sewage. Was not going to check. Honorable mention. Fresno, California. Only city I have ever felt wary. I have walked through rough parts of San Francisco, New York City, and a few others. No problem. Just kept to myself. Fresno is a palpable error, GTFO. Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Got stuck there on way back from Tanzania. Airline put us in a hotel downtown. Would not recommend. Addis was an experience I would not like to repeat. The hotel told me not to take any valuables with me when I went out. Saw people caked in filth with obvious mental illnesses defecating on the street. and the taxi to the airport got surrounded by guys who started rocking it violently back and forth because we would accidentally run over their football. I honestly broke out in a cold sweat. In my first 48 hours in Addis Ababa, I was scammed out of $50 in a day-long confidence scam. Got called Mr. Asshole by a dude in Mercato. Was left at by the hotel when I told them about it. Got bitten by fleas in my hotel bed, and had to navigate around to people fist-fighting behind my taxi to the bus station. It's a wild city. I went to Port-au-Prince, Haiti on a business trip with a local non-profit. The place is a literal shithole. We did not end up investing there. We had to bribe our way out. I used to do it support for this guy that repossesses airplanes for a living. He had to go to Haiti to repossess the president's plane and they put him in jail. He only got out because there was a coup and they let everyone out of prison. He won't ever go back again. Lol. Had a friend try to start a bakery there. He married a Haitian. They tried to start a life in Giacomo. This was after the earthquake almost 20 years ago. He could not. He had to bribe so many gangsters. He was not able to run his bakery. They left her family heartbreakingly and moved to the States. The longest year I ever spent was the day I spent in Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson. We were passing through and had to stay a night. We were headed to a steakhouse that the hotel clerk recommended. When we got there, someone had been murdered in the parking lot and a drug deal gone wrong, and the place had been evacuated out the back door. We drove through McDonald's and holed up in our room until we left very early the next morning. Fun place. Alexandra, South Africa. I am not sure if it counts as an independent city or if it's technically part of the Johannesburg metropolitan area, but it's worth an honorable mention. There are a lot of rough places in South Africa, but I have never been anywhere like Alexandria. A massive and sprawling slum that has some of the most brutal poverty you will see anywhere. Unpaved roads, overflowing sewage in the streets, entire families crammed into tiny shacks of sheets of corrugated steel, burning tires, piles of trash and broken bottles. Crime, gang warfare, and violence hang over the township like a suffocating miasma. Do not go there at night. Pray that you don't have engine troubles as you pass through. If you find yourself there without a really good reason, then you need to reconsider some of your life decisions. Port Moresby. My brother is an engineer, and once spent 18 months in PM working on a World Bank development project. Despite the sweltering heat and humidity, most evenings he would have to close his windows and shut off his aircon to avoid the tear gas drifting up from downtown. About 2 days out of every 5 his local driver would have to take lengthy detours to avoid riots, and once he and his driver found themselves in the middle of a machete fight involving about 40 people from 2 warring tribes, who had decided to carry their territorial beef into the city. Papua New Guinea, the country with a 90% rape rate for women, definitely not as inviting as the pictures suggest. Port Moresby comes up now and again on Reddit, and the whole country of PNG is so small in terms of population that if you hang around the related comment threads, Redditors eventually realize they have some level of real-world connection to one another. Ashgabat. Sure, it's gorgeous with its white marble and gold buildings and monuments, but the absence of people, the blatant corruption, the constant surveillance, the human rights issues, etc., not worth ever going back to. I say this as Texan. Odessa and Midland, Texas are the closest thing to a colonized Mars that you can get. Just emptiness and oil jack pumps everywhere along with poverty. But on the bright side, there's that big-ass football stadium that inspired a heartbreaking novel, that inspired an underrated football movie, and that inspired an award-winning TV show about life in football. The novel, movie, and TV show are called Friday Night Lights. Nobody here has gone to Port-au-Prince here, so they are still listing heavenly places like Cairo or Phoenix. You literally just want to die every minute you are there. So much crime, so much poverty. There are still collapsed buildings from an earthquake 15 years ago. The entire country is basically under anarchy. It's like cartels don't even want to operate there as a midpoint. This is the right answer. It's a city with 1 million people with no buildings taller than 2 stories. No hotels. No malls. It's actual anarchy. Kandahar's shit-lined streets. And the fact it was like a driving jack in the box, just waiting for it to go off. Dubai is awful. It's like someone took an airport duty-free lounge and scaled it up into a city. Charmless, soulless, and cheap to its core. That's exactly what it's like. Everything feels like a decor. I went to the desert from Dubai and saw a beautiful old fort in the distance. We walked all the way to it and saw that it was a fake, just a facade for photos. You could actually hop on the back of a poor camel and take your photo in front of the fake fort. And people have no issue with the fact that their photo is fake. Guayaquil, Ecuador. At it, I was dropped off after 12 a.m. on a side street near to nothing that seemed worth stopping for. I don't scare easy and have been in some very bad parts, bad towns. But this felt like I could disappear a bit easily. The driver unceremoniously ignored my attempts for information and I was alone. But it was not quiet. I had just laid eyes on a hotel sign just before being dropped off. So headed quickly in that direction. I dodged the light of burning trash cans and alleys and moved quickly. But by the time I saw a clean shot to the hotel, I had attracted attention and had some zombie stragglers catching up to me until I knew I had it in me and sprinted the last block or so. I was charged $100 for a room with no hot water. Immediately cut my foot on a piece of a broken bottle on the floor that had not been cleaned up, and the power went out for most of the night. It may have its charms, but I could not find them. Gary, Indiana. Went there for a vendor meeting for work. Someone shot my rental car. Mechanic at the rental place said I probably drove away from a carjacking attempt and got a warning shot. I have said it before and I will say it again. Gary, Indiana. The place looked like a war zone. Luton, twinned with Mordor. I doubt Mordor has quite so many charity shops and off-brand fried chicken joints. Caracas, Venezuela. We were obviously rich Americans, being squired through the hot streets in an unmarked white Mercedes van. The sweltering city teeming with people whose stares ranged from unfriendly to openly hostile, being told by hotel staff that we should tip in US dollars if we knew what was good for us. Sleeping with open windows because the hotel room air conditioners were broken, and hearing the chatter of sporadic automatic weapons fire through the night only blocks away as rival gangs battled for turf. Being told it was unsafe to walk the local streets, even in daylight. But doing it anyway and seeing desperately poor people washing themselves in the open sewage water canal. Bogalusa, Louisiana. Purely because of the smell. It's been over 30 years since I have been there. So maybe the paper mill is gone now. But 30 years ago, it was the most atrocious smelling city I have ever been in. I have lived in other cities that were also pretty bad about air pollution, but none of them compared to the odor from that paper mill. Fayetteville, North California, right outside of Fort Bragg. I used to travel a lot for the Army as a contractor, and that was the only town they sent me where I really wished I was armed. I have been to over 40 countries on every continent except Antarctica, most of it traveling via motorcycle. So I have seen all the random little towns and villages in between the major ones and in some extremely remote places. My answer is Minute. North Dakota, USA. Fuck that place. Thanks for watching. Share your opinion in the comment, like and subscribe. It helps a lot.